Okay, it is 8:05, and I am just chilling here on the call. I didn't do this last week because I didn't really uh, the changes that were being made at the time were still sort of in flux. But I've made a decent amount of progress on some things this week, so I figure even though nobody's on the call at the moment, I'll give a video update. Some people have said that they do watch the videos afterwards, and so I will speak into the ether um, and um, and give an update this way. And obviously, part of I think what's driving a lot of this is the coronavirus is now having everybody in lockdown, which is making everybody stressed out. And probably the last thing they want to do is attend an open source weekly stand up. So it's all very understandable. But nevertheless, things are moving forward, and I want to make sure people are up to date if they choose to be. So let's go through some stuff. So sharing my screen. This is the notes for today. Last week we talked about posting the stats to the main page. Haven't done that yet, but that's something that can easily be done. The posting the Grafana metrics. What I'm going to do is there's actually a series of changes that I need to wrap up. Part of what I want to do this week as well is close this relaunch issue that I opened long before we did the relaunch as a way of planning it. There's a number of things that should probably get done as part of the cleanup that I haven't really gotten around to. Some of which I don't want to get around to. Like it's not worth investing in my time right now to try to change the theme for the forums. It's good enough for now. So some of these I'll just delete, but other things I do want to do, and then once that's done, I will get rid of them. And I think part of that is adding a page for use cases as well as some of the folks that have helped us out thus far. I want to make sure people get credit for their involvement. So there's a bunch of web front end, I think, or not web front end, not Antidote Web really, but like the actual NRE Labs site, the main site. There's some changes that I want to wrap up there. So I think that'll get wrapped up, rolled up into that, into those changes. In terms of SEO problems, I wonder if there's a good way to show this. I can't remember if I mentioned this on a previous stand-up, but in short, one of the problems that we had long ago, and I'm not even logged in. This is because I'm incognito because I'm doing some web development. Let me. I think if I just relaunch Chrome, it should be good. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, we're doing good now. There's doing well now. There's some errors you can see that I'm having to fix, but that's actually good because the previous problem that we had was our site just wasn't showing up at all in search queries. And you can kind of tell when you just Googled NRE Labs. Of course, now it's good. Now we have our site as the first result. We even have some of these little sub pages. The lesson catalog shows there, which you can go straight to from your Google query, which is really cool. The problem was, excuse me. The problem was early on, this wasn't happening at all. This was actually the first result, or actually, I don't even know if Twitter was the first result. I think it was this Juniper page that was the first result, which is not good. That's not what we want. So what we wanted was our site to be the first result. And the main reason for that was because of a misunderstanding I had about the Netlify deployment. Effectively, there was an environment variable that you have to set, and if you don't set it, it defaults to please don't index my site, which is not good. And so it was an easy fix. I dug in. Once somebody let me know that no index tag was there, I went hunting around for how it got there, and then that led me to that environment variable. So it was an easy fix. I set the environment variable in our Netlify deployment, and all of a sudden Google's seeing our site. I also talked to some of our the internal SEO experts at Juniper, and they helped me out with setting this console up properly and making sure everything's added and things like that. So. Obviously, you can see there's some errors here, but there's also a bunch of valid pages. So we're definitely getting a lot more results than we would have before. Okay, so that's good. I'll just actually close that. Back to here, and then the next two are about the survey. Both of these items are more or less done. Lisa shared the the draft survey with me, and I took a peek at it. It's really ready to go. It's a good survey. Something that we want to do about twice a year. So we can all obviously still change it. And then, of course, we want to do the pop-up on the main site so that we can have people take it when they engage with the site. Lisa and I, Lisa really brought up the idea that maybe we should wait a little bit on this just because of the pandemic that's going around, which I think is a good idea. So she and I will discuss what we want to do with this in terms of next steps. I believe tomorrow we have a meeting to discuss this. She also should mention she wasn't able to make today because of an all-day sort of all-hands meeting that she's been pulled into. So otherwise, she would be saying this to you. But yeah, so we'll see what that's at. There's no rush on this really. We prefer to get a good solid survey rather than get it like soon. So like it's not a huge deal for us to push that a little bit. I think the same is actually true for me a little bit for the curriculum. I'm not trying to really stop curriculum releases. I think it's good to keep pushing new content, but part of what the situation we're in right now is we're actually ahead of where the videos are at for Labs and Latte. So what I'm thinking actually, just to take advantage of the fact that not everybody's really paying attention to some of this stuff at the moment, what we could probably do is just catch Labs and Latte up with a new episode this week, and then Curriculum V112 can actually get released on the first week of April. So sort of skipping skipping one release cycle to get the video series caught up. But we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. We'll see what happens with the other stuff. The last thing that's on my plate is the Antidote core rewrite. As you all know, that this has been something that I've been working on for a number of weeks. And I'm happy to report that there's been a good amount of progress, specifically on the web front end side of things. So up until now, what I've been doing is revamping effectively what was formerly Syringe and rewriting it to have a totally revamped state model and all kinds of different things, and changing the API to make it more streamlined and suitable for what it's meant to do. And the web front end had not been changed at all to account for that. So the only way that I could test the Antidote core changes was through my own Python scripts, which worked to a degree, but there's a point to which that stops working. So what I've done lately, and that's actually what was in this other window, is making the changes to the web front end so that it can take advantage of those changes on the back end. And I've opened a few pull requests for doing that. So this is the Antidote core PR. This is the Syringe repo 141. You'll notice it's still named Syringe. I'm actually not going to do the rename until this is merged. So once this is merged, I'll rename to Antidote core, and then everything will be straightforward. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to land in the next Antidote version, because it looks like the current Antidote version is reasonably stable, doesn't need any urgent fixes. And so I'm able to take my time and do this. And then, yeah, the Antidote web front end is actually in Antidote UI components. That's where most of the logic is. So that's where this pull request is. This may also include an Antidote web change. I'm not quite sure at this point, but at the moment, the bulk of the changes are in this repo. So this PR plus this PR are going to be the main sort of thrust of the sort of the revamp effort. I should mention this is not going to be this PR, this web front end PR is actually not going to be crazy substantial. It's not really meant to be a revamp of the front end. It's meant to be, effectively the minimal changes to the front end to catch up with the revamp that took place on the back end. So this won't be nearly as a severe an update as the back end is, because really all we have to do here is change what's necessary to reflect the changes to the API. So yeah, it's ongoing. I'm hoping that the next few weeks will give me the time to finish this out. Having a web UI to test the changes to the back end has given me a good amount of energy to continue on the back end, which is good. So no idea on timeline, but eventually I think in the next few weeks it should be good enough to merge. I think the last big thing is adding tracing functionality so that we can see what's going on the back end without relying on logs. That's sort of the big thing that I want to do in this Antidote core change. But if you have any questions, just read the PR. There's plenty of I put in plenty of pointers there, and of course I think I made comments further down in the PR. And then of course if you have any other questions, just let me know in the forums. And that is it. So if, yeah, like I said, if you have anything you'd like to discuss, these weekly stand-ups are here. I sort of treat them like office hours. So if nobody joins, that's fine. If somebody wants to join and just shoot the breeze or talk about something that's important to them, that's fine too. But if not, you can always sort of communicate more asynchronously by just posting to the forums. That's totally fine too. And you can even do it in the stand-up topic if you just want to say, hey, I don't really have time to join the stand-up, but this is the kind of thing that I would like to have discussed, and I'll speak to it the next time I get a chance. But yeah, until then, everybody stay safe. Practice social distancing, wash your hands. Hope you and yours are well. This is sort of a scary situation that we're in worldwide, but I think this too shall pass, especially if we do the right things and make sure that we watch out for each other. So yeah, everybody have a good week and stay safe.